Wednesday are massive, everywhere we go. Wednesday are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. When
Jimmy McCallion found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Shayna.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and it's goal. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Flynn works the
Is there time for a winner?
you wouldn't have thought it looking at that away end yesterday, but we're now 33 games without a win. You wouldn't have thought it looking at that away end that we're on -6 and relegated as well. Those fans at Hull yesterday are a credit to the club once again. Hello and welcome to Wednesday's Lighthearted podcast. I'm James Mappin alongside me, and I hope he's still got his voice after yesterday afternoon. It's Mr. Matt Johnson. Matt, how's things, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, James. It's better than it was, about 6 o'clock yesterday, where it was, it was a bit of a struggle. But yeah, all good, mate. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Photo shoot done earlier on today. I hope people saw that with the new Honolulu Wednesday shirt. Felt like a right dickhead. So that's out of my house. I get my missus taking some
around the estate in that.
my missus was like, yeah, smile a bit. Oh no, don't smile. Yeah, just look over there a bit. Yeah, I felt like a right tosser. But anyway, thanks everyone that has bought the Honolulu Wednesday shirt. Do really appreciate it. But yeah, let's just get straight into that away day, Matt. You know, I think a lot of people that were at Derby a few weeks ago said that was one of the best away days in a long, long time. I mean, I wasn't there, but judging by the photos and what we saw from the pictures and videos and things like that, it looked like it was equally as good, Matt.
Yeah, it's another really good day out following the football club. Like, since relegation has been mathematically confirmed, and again at the hands of your local rivals, it's like a weight has been lifted off from the fan base. It's now what I would argue should have been really all season, which is like non-stop, constant vocal backing for a full 90 minutes. I know we spoke about it a little bit post the Derby game, and I referenced that Preston game, and it wasn't the case all season, and there's no point in trying to pretend it was. There's been fantastic support this season, but it hasn't been like this. It's just boiled it down, I think, to what being a fan is, like following a football club up and down the country, meeting friends, your family, and just having a laugh. Like the last 25 minutes of the game, with the Wednesday a massive chant, like I absolutely hate the song, like I hate the bass for it, but you just can't help getting involved and being swept up in it, and the players also recognise it. Like there's a moment right at the end of the game where Jerry Yates is sort of kneeling down, taking in swinging shirts of topless blokes in the 50s and kids who'll be ringing in sick on Monday because they've got chest cold after it. And he sort of nudges Sean Fasir as he stands up, and he's like, from a fan perspective, romanticising it. He's like, you don't get this everywhere. And, you know, as Arctic Monkeys once said, there is a certain romance to it all. Yeah,
I think Jerry Yates is as Wednesday as you could possibly get. You know, obviously I know he's not our player yet. You never know, maybe, but he just seems to have... He's one of the players that seems to encapsulated everything about the fans and stuff. And I suppose, you know, he's very much a confidence player, and he very much kind of, I suppose, plays up to the fans a little bit. Not in a bad way. I mean, he likes that aspect of football, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think, and again, it's... I know you've mentioned it a number of times in the past, and obviously previous hosts have mentioned it, but I know we have spoken about it as well in terms of it does buy you a lot of time, doesn't it? And managers in particular, and... Yeah, I think he's just somebody who is very grateful because his experience for the first half of the year, I think he's, you know, without wanting to make any bones about it, at the football club that he's at, has been fairly shit. Like, that move hasn't panned out for him, has it? Yeah. And he's come to a place where, because it is so desperate, and it is really desperate, that just base level effort and application, you know, the fact that he scored a couple of goals really helps. But yeah, he seems to have taken it to heart, and obviously there's the family connection there as well. So yeah.
Go on then, Matt. Were you one of those with your top off yesterday, or did you keep it firmly on yesterday?
Two reasons, James. One, because of my job, and secondly, I thought just thankfully for everybody else in the vicinity, that's the last thing that anybody needs is someone 6'3" with longest limbs on the planet swinging a t-shirt around and clocking people 3 rows in front. So no.
Well, there were so many with them off, though, weren't there? To be fair, there was a fair few that were really getting into the swing of things and just enjoying themselves at the end of the day. Matt, that's the main thing, innit?
Well, it was started by a couple of groups, young lads who had got the champ was going for a long while, but there was a consistent couple of groups of lads, and there was a young lad, couldn't have been no older than 16, I don't think, in the concourse who had it off. And he was running up and down the concourse from the top section down to the bottom, like bouncing around, grabbing stewards. And then there was a bloke who come back up from the concourse who grabbed another steward and he'd got his arm round him and was getting him jumping and bouncing. It's just really, really infectious yesterday. Because again, we'll come on to talk about the game, but the last 20 minutes, the game just sort of petered out, didn't it? And you got to make your own fun in your entertainment. And as you say, by the end of it, taking your top off and swinging it around your head seemed to be catching, because there was a good number of shirts zinging about in that way end yesterday. Yeah,
the pictures that the official Twitter account posted, just you can count them. There's so many of them. I mean, Matt, imagine if we were actually good, what the atmosphere would be like.
I said this to Chris, who I go to games with and was stood next to yesterday. I nudged him, I think it was about just as the added time went up on the board, and just went, can you imagine if we were good? And we were saying just before recording, weren't we? I think the reason why it's become this way is because it can get no worse in terms of the way in which the season's panned out. Relegated, the earliest that anybody has ever been relegated, at the hands of your local rivals. You're still on negative points. Haven't won for knocking on 35 games now. Knocking on for 35 games. What is there left to do other than just sing and support them and have a laugh with all of the people who are you around? Like, there isn't really, is there?
Yeah, there's a lot of Gallows humour, but I suppose for me, I'm just thinking, because the atmosphere at Hillsborough's not been great for quite a while, let's say. Yeah. Away, it has been a lot better, I think, than most, and certainly there's been some cracking away days and stuff like that. But there's a feeling for me that I think there's an opportunity here to kind of take this momentum into next season in terms of, I think the away atmosphere is bleeding into the atmosphere at home as well, where the chants are going, which don't normally happen. And I think with everything in terms of like the takeover, which looks like it's probably going to happen before next season, and or maybe hopefully before the end of this season. Do you know what I mean? There's an opportunity here to roll that over into the start of next, and do you know what I mean? I've start something new without having to have a designated singing section.
Yeah, singing this way, non-singing that way. That went really well, lads, yesterday. Well done, Josh Windass. But again, James, I'd put out a post on X, which was based around something that Chris McClure had highlighted that they'd done at Sheffield FC, and we've spoke about it before on here, and I'm sure we'll discuss it again in the future when the inevitable safe standing comes into the North Stand if the bid is successful, etc. Because I'm sure that'll be one of the first things that is really easy to do in terms of creating and generating more of an atmosphere at home. I know it's tin pot on the surface of it. I know it's, not something that should be done. But I genuinely, at this point in time, aside from this particular point in the season, I don't see how else there is to go about creating an atmosphere at home. And I know that's a discussion for another day. But You're right, it is bleeding into the home fixtures because people are looking at it and going, I can't get to away games for whatever reason that may be, whether it's financial, whether it's distance and time away from family, whatever it is. I want a slice of that. I want to be able to experience something like that, which is why I'm so desperate to see a win at home this season. Because, again, away from home, if you go away from home, you've experienced it.
Yeah.
And it's, we're coming up to a year here now since we won a game at home. It'd be really nice to end the season off with a win at home. I'm not even asking for 0 points. I'm not even asking to get into the positives here. I'm just asking for a win at home.
Just a win, please. Just one win, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, where does it rank in terms of atmospheres for you? Obviously, we're going back to the game yesterday against Hull. I know there was a lot of Gallows humour in there, but you don't get many games, though, do you, really, when you're singing non-stop for that length of time at all? I mean, I suppose, yeah, Jerry's right. You don't get this everywhere. So yeah, where does it rank for you? Was it up there, or was it just a good away day?
It's really weird, James, because somebody else asked me this question yesterday and said, that looked fucking insane yesterday, that looked mental. And it's really weird because I'm having to compartmentalise this season because it's so different.
Yeah. The bar's not very high, is it, at all?
No, but it is also, we are going to generate, because we all knew going into this season that it was going to be terrible. I'm assuming some people didn't think it was actually going to be this kind of level where you've gone 30 odd games without a win, or you're still on negative points, with 7-8 games remaining, whatever it is. The reason why I'm compartmentalising it is because the atmospheres are unique to the situation. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, I can't compare this to Brighton in the playoff semi-finals, or I think Cardiff on the last day of that season was really good as well, or Plymouth in the League One promotion season. I'm not or Plymouth even away last year was a really good atmosphere. It's pointless comparing them because without wanting to get all misty-eyed about it, it is a little bit bigger than the 3 points that are on the pitch this season. Yes, that's important, but it's totally secondary, and it's brought it into massive focus for myself. For me, this season, nothing will top Leicester. Leicester, with just how highly charged the emotion was for Leicester, that one, in my eyes, that will always rank as one of the best away days that I think I will go on, just because of what the game meant, contextually. But yeah, it was really good yesterday.
Just on that Leicester one, I saw a clip of it in the past week or so, and it does take you back to then. Obviously, again, I wasn't there, but just to make you think how far the club has actually come since the start of the season. You forget where we were at that point at the start of the season. The team was totally different. The mentality was totally different. We had that man in charge still as well. So it was, just so different in such a short space of time. I'm going to come to some comments in a second, so do keep them coming in if you are watching live over on YouTube. But I just want to finish up with talking about the away day, Matt. I can't believe how rattled Hull fans get when talking about attendance and things, and how rattled they got about yesterday's game as well. Absolute rent-free in all the heads. I mean, do we talk about attendance too much? United fans get rattled about that as well. I mean, even they started wading in yesterday, throwing their 2 pence in. If you look on the social, I mean, do we have every right to mention the size of this massive fan base, capital M, capital A?
Yeah, because we are massive, regardless of what Rob Staten says. Absolutely massive, gigantic. We're one of the biggest teams in the country.
World, Matt. Absolute massive.
But it is, again, the funny thing was yesterday is, I thought the Hull fans were poor, but again, it's acoustically set up to be difficult to hear opposition fans, I think, at the MKM, because there's the gap, isn't there, between where the stand finishes and where the roof is. There's a big gap, and it obviously spills down to the concourse as well. The one that really got me yesterday was their third one went in, and they finally mustered up the bottle to actually sing about Wembley. And they were greeted with a wall of just, you lying bastards, you weren't even there. And instantly just totally silent. Yeah. I think the reason why it rattles people, James, is because people just expect us to be so depressed about everything. And don't get me wrong, there's been fucking plenty of that.
We've done that. We're way past that. That was months ago. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. And it must be the ones that have made me sort of smile a little bit over the past 24 hours or so since they started rolling in was the Hull fans who were saying it's weird coming away from a game winning 3-1 and feeling like you've lost because you've been outsung all game as well. And it was strange because there was actually a little section of where you are in the away end to the left of it, so it'd be where the camera faces. Yeah, there was actually a little section from there who came down as the game ended, Hull fans who came down. And again, I would never advocate this at fucking Hillsborough. But applauded the away end and stuff, and actually it's been really refreshing this year going away and actually getting some recognition, because other football fans are looking at it and knowing how shit the situation is, properly knowing how shit the situation is. And I think that I can't wait to go back to really goading one another and all the rest of it over the next couple of years. But I think as a Wednesday fan myself, I'll definitely remember the clubs that have shown some level of appreciation for it this year.
It is weird though, isn't it? Because you think that how shit we are, attendance will drop off and people won't go. But I mean, I suppose there is an element of excitement, I guess, for next season as well. There's, and things on the horizon and all that sort of stuff. And I suppose people are just trying to get the tickets for Bromley as well. Enough points for Bromley. So there is that one when you're 200 away tickets or whatever it's going to be. But anyway, right, let's come to some comments then. There's plenty of them. Liam says, massive, capital M, capital A, of course. Daz says, evening all, great singing, James. Thank you very much. Not sure I don't think it'll be number one in the charts anytime soon, but, we can always try. Jason says, our fans are just incredible. Andrew says, getting battered everywhere you go. Yeah, I did think that, when I did the watch along, I did think that was the song, but was it that song at any point, Matt, or was it just the massive?
No, I think whole fans tried to join in with clapping for 5 minutes and doing it, but then when it went on for 25, I think they got bored of it. And
yeah, probably.
There's that video knocking around on socials, isn't there, of that whole fan who's videoing it. He goes, "You've been doing this for 20 minutes."
Yeah, right. A lot of people mentioned about me singing, so I'll just gloss over that one. That's fine. Nat says NHS in Sheffield will be overrun with sore throats and chest infections this week. Yeah, with all the singing. Big Rev says American TV commentary said the guys who took the shirts off need to work on their tans.
To be fair, just on that comment, Big Revs, there's one lad who's been done an absolute solid by the club official photos. I think it was the club photos or the Star, because he's got his top off, and as it's come caught round, it's caught him at the perfect moment where everything's tensed. Absolute unit of a bloke who's been done proper by the whoever's done it needs to slip him a tenner.
I mean, if I had done that, even with everything tense, it'd still be wobbling all around. So Zane says, always loved away games more back in the day for atmosphere in the 70s and the 80s. And yeah, Jay says, I read a Hull fan said they walked away from the game feeling like they'd lost. Yeah, you mentioned that as well. Loads more comments as well. Do keep them coming in. I will try and read out as many as we possibly can. But Matt, there was a match yesterday, believe it or not. If you had forgotten about that one, I will whiz through the starting lineup, although it was exactly the same as the last game. Charles Ayo for Ottagbayo, Palmer Fazier, Adam Ramola, Thornton, Ingleson, Heskey, Jamal Lowe, and Jerry Yates up top. So yeah, unchanged side for the first time in what feels like forever. And Darla and McNeil having to settle for another game starting from the bench. But also one change on the bench was that Max Lowe was back in the squad. So great to see him on there, if nothing else.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like he's been out like all season. Like the length that this season feels like it's gone on for. It feels like he's been out for, 6, 7, 8 months, like really.
I think it was just before Christmas, I want to say. It's not been that long in all honesty.
No, not really. But again, there's been such a sea change in the football team since, December, hasn't there? Yeah. Again, I would like to see Charlie McNeil in the starting 11, but not at the expense of a 3 in midfield, because I think that has been pivotal to better performances in recent weeks, and I wouldn't want us sacrificing that. There's an argument there to say that, maybe you can rotate Jamal Lowe and Charlie McNeil for that, 10 spot a little bit more, but it is clear that Henrik has worked on Jamal Lowe's, because he's described him as a working 10, didn't he, in his post-match rather than a possession 10 now.
Yeah.
And it's clear that he's worked on that with him over the course of the season. And again, it's not all just because this season's coming to an end and there's rose-tinted spectacles all attached to it. He has got better in recent weeks, Jamal Lowe. He has been putting in more performances that I think people wanted to see from him at the start of the year, but it is difficult to turn around that perception once people have got it, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you just want to pull on that when you're mentioning the midfield 3 and stuff. I think, Thornton in that kind of more holding role with Heskey further forward, that's the combination in it, really. I mean, it's 100%. Just a shame that it's taken up to the end of March for us to find that out, though, really, because it certainly works. It's a lot better. Heskey plays a lot better in that position. Thornton, all right, he's not, I won't say he's immense. He's just solid and just does a job, doesn't he? Really, without being, he's not remarkable, but he's not don't really put a foot wrong. Although we could talk about the third goal a little bit later on. But I think he's doing a good job, and like I said, I'm happy with that sort of. If we played that trio in the middle until the end of the season, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, the little spell at the start of the season, or towards the start of the season, where we found that Jan Valery playing as a defensive midfielder, Svante Ingelsson and Barry Bannon kind of worked as a three. It's like we've almost found the new version of that with players who are much younger and can get through a bit more running than those three perhaps did. I thought Jarvis Thornton was brilliant yesterday for a young lad, and that's when you described him as solid. Correct me if I'm wrong, James. That's exactly what you want from a six. You want a six who gets it, gives it like nothing else like that. Wouldn't it be wonderful if he was scoring? I've got to get this in, James. The 35-yard rocket from like Shea Charles did yesterday. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Yeah, maybe he'll add that to his game. But I thought he was exceptional yesterday because he provides such a solid base, and as he said as well, Jaden Heskey looks a different player since being moved further forward, like completely different. It's almost like he's been let off the leash, really. To be, to go and press people and actually use some of that physical strength that he's got. Yeah, it works really well. I'd like to see it remain until the end of the season.
Well, just on Jarvis Thornton, that's his 10th start this season. His 18th appearance and 19th appearance and 10th start in the league. So long may that continue. Just on the match, Matt, I thought, in terms of the game as a whole, it is just the same old, isn't it, really? We do seem to be able to score now, which is obviously a huge positive. It's not just the, 10, 11 games that we've gone without hitting the back of the net. So we are actually scoring goals, albeit just the one. But we just can't keep them out, can we? At the other end, this was the 8th game out of the last 9 where we conceded 2 or more goals. It was only Watford where it was just the solitary goal. And in terms of clean sheets, we've kept 3 all season. Pompey win, West Brom away, and Blackburn at home. That's it. So, yeah, when you look at it like that, it does... When I get asked about what's the score prediction going to be, my default at the moment is either a 2 or a 3-1 defeat.
Yeah, it's banker at the minute. I mean... Again, just to compound onto that kind of same old feeling, James, it's also the same players making the same errors week after week of late, which is horrible, as it feels like, we come on here on a Sunday and it feels like I'm slaughtering the same players over and over again. And again, lots
You're not
of
making
players...
it up though, Matt.
No, and that's what I mean is, James, and I'm always a bit hesitant to give criticism this season because obviously we know the context surrounding it, but we've always said since the start of the season, haven't we? We're going to say it how it is and say it how it's seen. And when you've got those experienced players making consistently the same errors, this is also something that you can chart back for the length of time that they've been at the football club and this being an issue for them consistently. So, yeah, a 2-1 or a 3-1 every single week is pretty much nailed on, isn't it? Both teams to score at the minute is the Sheffield Wednesday bid. Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday bet, sorry.
Yeah, 2-1 or 3-1. It must be evens at the moment for that one. But I think, though, just on a positive, though, I think from a performance perspective, again, I think it was a lot better. Derby was decent. Watford was also a good performance. Ipswich last week, all right, 2-0 defeat, but again, that wasn't bad either. Taking them right up to the 79th minute before they managed to score. And I thought yesterday was much of the same. We seemed to kind of know what we're doing. There was some decent passages of play. The problem you have is the more attacking we go, and this is what I think Henrik's been guarding against all season, really, is the more attacking you go, you leave yourself exposed at the back. And there were a few times where Hull got forward and you're thinking, oh my God, the third goal is a prime example of that. Just cut through us like a knife through butter, and next minute it's like a 3-on-1 situation that's happening in front of your eyes. So, but I think, like I said, from a performance perspective, it wasn't too bad. The first half was a lot better than the second, granted. Second did get away, run away from us a little bit, and I think the goal that they scored just before half time, or well, should I say? They did. No, we scored it for him, didn't we?
We scored it for him. Yeah.
that was the Iorfa goal, weren't it? But I think that was a real sucker punch and probably knocked a bit of the stuffing out of the team, really. But no, from a performance perspective, I thought it was. Okay, let's say. Because I'm not going to say it was absolutely amazing, but it was better.
You've got to contextualise it in the sense of the season, haven't you? Like in the sense, is this performance a 3-1 loss away at Hull good enough in the grand scheme of things for a championship season? No, of course it's not. But based off where the squad is, that 45 minutes, I personally felt that 45 minutes was the best spell of football that we've had in the games where you'd go back to Derby onwards, really. I thought we were exceptional for 45 minutes. I thought we were really front foot in trying to set and late. I couldn't believe it in the first 20 minutes, James, where I was like, oh, hang on, we're setting up here for them to pass the ball into an area. We're going to, we've nicked it as well. Like, what's going off here?
We're actually closing them down in the final third. What is this? What's this about? This is mental. Yeah.
The thing that, and again, the thing was you always get that little sobering dose of reality through the first half where somebody realises, the way to beat this lot is just switch the ball. If you just switch the ball quickly, we can't deal with it, and we couldn't deal with it yesterday. But again, I thought we won the ball up high. We were quick in transition. I thought the ball over the top worked really well in the first half. Second half, I think our change in approach, I think, was dictated by what Hull did, because Hull, after going 2-1 ahead, just sat in. The first 5-10 minutes of the second half, we had loads of the ball, got forward into particular areas, but we're just not good enough to break teams down. And then they are able to just sit and counter, aren't they? Which is what they did for the rest of the game. And that's, I'm sure it was mentioned in the preview show, wasn't it, James, that you recorded, where that is how Hull play their best football. And, I've got no bones with it, because that is how we played our best football last year. And it does get results at this level because teams aren't good enough, because sooner or later, somebody's going to make an error.
I think that is the blueprint of how to be good in the Championship, is just not have the ball. I know that sounds mental, but not many teams are good with it. And if it's just that back to front, quick, counter-attacking football, if you can do that, and their first goal was, even though I think the cameraman just missed it because he was probably too busy showing the replay for our goal. It was happened that quick, but that was just exactly the same. Back to front, really quick, really really fast, and we just didn't really have an answer to it. Before we get onto the goals, though, Matt, like going into the game, how did you feel? Because I know I said before the Watford game, for some bizarre reason, I think it was all to do with the takeover stuff, and it was kind of rumoured that that they were going to be the preferred bidder and stuff. There was an air of optimism around the place. But did you think going into this one that we had any sort of a chance? Because Hull were fifth going into this one, or did you just think, we're going to get a bit of a pasting this afternoon?
Honest answer, James, is I hadn't really thought too much about the result. I think we were saying in the pub beforehand, I'd take a goal and leading for a spell in the game. Now, as it turned out, we did both of those things, but it was very short-lived. I can't really ask for much more this season, especially against a side that's chasing for playoffs, and there's a lot on the line for them. And I know we've got a couple of games with teams who are both ends of the table, top end and bottom end of the table. Who have got
we could ruin it for so many teams this season, couldn't we? Or we could also just hand it to one to play it. Yeah,
nothing. We could ruin it for everybody, or we could do fuck all about it.
But I can see what's going to happen. The team that's around there, I don't know. For example, the team that Ipswich who's chasing Middlesbrough, when we play Borough, they'll be like, "Oh, who've Borough got this week?" Oh, fuck, they've got Wednesday.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 3 points.
Well, I've said it a number of times about the West Brom game. If West Brom can get it to that last fixture of the season, needing something, they'll be fine. Absolutely fine. No dramas there, boys. You'll have your 3 points. Don't worry. You'll celebrate all the way back to West Bromwich, all the way back to the Black Country. But yeah, I didn't go into the game yesterday, James, thinking, oh, I'm really optimistic here. But I think that's also because I didn't go into the Watford game feeling like really optimistic, and judging by how few fans were there as well, that was very much a feeling amongst the fan base as well. The team over the past couple of weeks, in terms of the performances, I know they've been getting better, but they have consistently surprised me, because I'm just expecting it to be shit.
It's the best way to be, Matt, though, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, this season, 100%. Did you feel particularly optimistic about going into that game, or did you think, we're going to get paced in here? Because Hull have got some very good operators at this level.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm sure my prediction was either a 2-1 or a 3-1. I can't remember which one I said now, and I just feel like I just wanted a good performance more than anything else, and I feel like we can do that. We are scoring. I just wanted to have something to cheer about. Again, tick. We had to put a big green tick in that box. But in every game, I always just feel that the opposition is just going to have a little bit too much for us in every single one. I think that the more effort we put into the first half, it hurts us later on in the game. You know, Ipswich is a prime example of that. You get to 70, 80 minutes and it's still level, but then I just think the opposition will just, when they play against us, they don't use all of the gears that they've got available, and they can just go through the gears at the end, and because we're tired as well, it's very easy to score against us. And also we have got a rick in us, haven't we? Like every game there is something that we do that we're going to give the opposition a chance, and then once we've done that and they score from it, that is it. We're on the back foot, aren't we? We haven't come back from, you know, right, we got it level against Derby. That was, you know, one of the few times that we've actually pegged the team back after going behind. Normally we go behind and it's two fairly quickly as well. So yeah, I wasn't too optimistic at all, and I feel like I'm going to feel the same between that for every game from now until the end of the season. Like 2-1 will be the just default scoreline. You know, it just matters, kind of, I suppose, just depends on whether we score first or not, really. But no, I just want to bring this comment up from James. It says, James necking the buds 3 pods in a row. Love the commitment for our new American owners. Well, James, I bought a box of 20 because we were mentioning this on the watch along yesterday. It's called Yorkshirenomics because when a pack of 4 is £5.75 and a box of 20 is only £12. You don't want 20, and I didn't need 20. I don't particularly like Budweiser either, but you know, you look at that and you think that's a cracking deal. That you can't.
So fucking Yorkshire, so painfully. It's, you know, when you look at the price and then it's got the per bottle underneath it.
My shopping is done purely based on that. I mean, I've got 14 kilos of chips in the fridge, the freezer.
Oh man, funny.
Don't even need them. But anyway, and I don't know how I get 14 kilos of chips in the freezer, by the way. If anyone's wondering, don't try it. Don't work.
What we having for dinner all week? Chips. What we having? Chips. Chips again? Chips.
What you have for your breakfast? Chips. Chip butty for breakfast. It's the future. Anyway, right, let's talk about the goals then. And we have got a Sheffield Wednesday goal to talk about. Matt, how the bloody hell did Jamal Lowe score this goal? Because the free kick comes in, it's headed out to the edge of the box. Jamal Lowe then picks it up. I don't think he even knows how he's still got the ball when he kind of runs through with his. He just pinballs around the 3 or 4 Hull players, and he gets there, you know, around the penalty spot area, just left of the penalty spot, and then he just kind of just pokes his foot at it. Initially, I think it's a good finish. When you watch it back, it's obviously took a wicked deflection, but we don't care. No one in that away end cared. Nobody cared, really. It was 1-0 up, and I think it was pandemonium ensued in that away end, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, any goal this season has to be cherished and celebrated like it's a League Cup final winning goal, like, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, from a Hull perspective, it's an absolute fucking shocker of a goal to concede. It's a real mess. Like, they're just in an inability to clear the lines and lots of swinging legs at it and trying to get some sort of contact on it. And to be fair, Jamal Lowe's just persistent, isn't he? Like, he's just persistent in terms of he's quicker to react than any of the Hull players who take a swipe at the ball. And none of them... It felt very Clark Harris against Peterborough, trying to clear the ball and like sort of scuffing it and not getting a good contact on it. And again, he breaks through, 2 or 3, and it sort of falls to him. He stabs it towards the goal. And again, there just haven't been that many opportunities this year, including set pieces from this, because we do load boxes for set pieces, for throw-ins, but we don't ever win the second ball, it seems. No. We don't ever seem to win the second ball. It seems to go up, away, and over. And if we do win the second ball, we then look to recycle it, rather than this sort of seemed to happen because he was trying to win and battle for the ball. And then before he knew it, he was 6 yards out, centre a goal. And yeah, it's, again, exactly what you want from a striker. From a Hull perspective, what a fucking mess of a goal to concede. Again, goal goes in. They'd missed a big chance early on as well, and it was nervous. Again, you've got to take your small wins this season, haven't you?
Nervous for about 25
seconds. 20
seconds.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I hadn't actually we hadn't actually calmed down in the away end before everybody pissed themselves laughing that we'd already conceded.
I know. Obviously, again, I was doing the watch along and we scored. I think I was just reading some of the comments out for the goal, and then next thing I was like, Oh shit, yeah, 1-1. Just like, and he was right, just laughing, like thinking, we can't have out, can we? We cannot have anything. Just let us celebrate a goal for at least a minute. Like, what was it, 90 seconds or something? So
something like that, yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, we just have to be better though, don't we? When you score a goal, I suppose you're the most, the team's most dangerous, vulnerable. Yeah, once you've just scored a goal, and that's exactly what it was for us. But yeah, you've just got to be better and just don't concede a goal straight after scoring one. I mean, I froze the ball, or froze the video, should I say, when the ball gets played into to Crooks, who scores it. We've got Palmer trying to block the cross, doing his best Penguin impression. We've got Otubeo, then we've got Iofa, then it is Matt Crooks, then Fazira. But Crooks is on the penalty spot, kind of as central as you can possibly be. Totally unmarked.
So unmarked, isn't he? He's so unmarked.
Matt, I could show you 10. I mean, 10 is probably being conservative, considering we've conceded 79 goals this season in the league. But I could genuinely show you.
It's so bad out loud.
I could show you 10 examples of us conceding a goal in this way. You literally get the ball wide and square it across the 6-yard box. You will score at least one goal like that against us. It's just really poor defending, and we just have to be better. I mean, like I said, it's really quick from Hull how they get into that situation, and good football. You know, a lot of interfeet, play it round the corner and turn, and then get on your bike like that. I think Crooks does that actually. He's the man that plays it out wide, and then next minute he's the one receiving it in inside just outside the 6-yard box, and he can't really miss. But yeah, that goal we've conceded it so many times, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think, again, going back to the point that we were talking about at the top before we got into the game, it's been a consistent theme for several years. We just can't defend the ball into the box. And I know this season it is, every year there is a pattern of play within the Championship where the majority of goals are scored. Last year it was transition, and that still sort of reigns true this year. But it's again, lots of goals this year in the Championship have been scored from crossing the ball into the box. It's not just against us, it happens in every Championship game up and down the country. And I think it's just by playing the numbers. If you keep putting balls into dangerous areas, sooner or later somebody will get on the end of it. You've just got to, when you come back to that point of like, we have to be better, you've got to look at your experienced professionals to be doing the right things here. And we are just all over the place. Yeah. And it's, I think someone's mentioned, actually, I think, where is it now? James says Jamal and Don were still doing that stupid dance. Still doing that PK Humble dance, yeah. I think if you're looking at it, again, you're right to highlight it, James, because it is all very much one-touch football from Hull. But you can also see players attempting to carry out managerial instructions in terms of Teo Adaramola in the first instant goes to jump towards Bramall, but he's on the halfway line. Now, Teo is still trying to get to the level of a Championship footballer. He was playing at Stevenage, obviously, earlier this year. Let's not forget about it. It pops around and it's all very one-touch. But I look at Dominic Iofa when the ball comes into Ollie McBurney. He's got to be stronger. He's got to be stronger to him, and he's got to force the ball backwards, not like kind of just put an arm into him, because he's a big physical lad. Like he's going to be able to deal with that all day. You look at stopping crosses again. You highlighted Liam Palmer with his arms behind his back doing his best Penguin impression. Why are we not closing crosses down? Why are we just wafting a leg at it and still standing 5 yards off people? The defensive line, once Iofa's gone and Gab's up, Facea's steps, so actually those three are in a perfect line. Who's 5 yards deeper than them? It's Liam Palmer. Tracking runners who are offside. Why? Why are you following them? And that's where it comes down to, we'll get on to the error for the third goal in terms of, there are young players who need to be highlighted for this, but when you're talking about it from experienced professionals consistently making mistakes week on week, and I know that they don't expect to be playing this amount of games. I know that. Like, I'm aware Liam Palmer should not be, and I'm sure he probably didn't anticipate playing this amount of football at this stage in his career in the Championship. But when they are there and it's the same similar players who are making errors week in, week out, it's fairly glaring, and it's really hard to see for a bloke who a couple of weeks ago, a great milestone, 500 career appearances for the football club, and somebody who for my money, will go down as a Sheffield Wednesday modern day hero. It's really hard to watch because every single week, James, when first goal and the second goal goes in, I'm hoping it's not him.
Yeah,
like I'm genuinely, I'm hoping it's somebody else because you just know, he's out of position. Oh, he's not stopped the cross again.
I mean, you mentioned senior players there, and I suppose if you want to just flip it on its head and turn it into a bit of a positive, we're asking these youngsters to come in, and they are stepping up, and they are actually, it's not the youngsters that are making the mistakes. It's not Jarvis Thornton that's doing that. It's not Jaden Heskey that's doing it either. It's not Gabe Otegbeyo that's doing it. He's massively stepped up, and he's actually, he's probably one of the more consistent performers. I think in certainly in recent weeks anyway. So to flip it on its head, if it is the senior players that are making the mistakes, well, they're on the more money. The youngsters are on absolute peanuts in comparison, and we might be needing said peanuts if the wage restrictions are going to be enforced next season. So we could be needing them players. Second goal then, 45 plus 5, like literally on the stroke of half time with the last minute of added time. I am going to sympathise with Dom here because he's not seen it. It's hit him absolutely square in the face, and let's be honest, it's a cracking finish. It's a deft header. Just kind of cushioned header, just nodded it into the corner. Pierce Charles absolutely no chance. But just kind of literally seconds before half time, it felt very Derby at Pride Park. Just in terms of going into the, thinking you're going in level, everything's okay. A bit of a better performance, and it's 2-1. It just felt, like I said, very like we've been here before, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
and again, it's daft areas to be giving free kicks away in. I go back to, I think it was Luton away last year where they turned the game around really quickly on us. I think it came from it was when Dish handballed the ball on the line, but it wasn't a handball because it was off his shoulder, and then all the rest of it. We give away so many stupid fouls in stupid areas, but it's well wide of the goal. Just keep seeing him wide, there's just no point to it. I agree with you. I don't think Dom can do much about it because if a defender ducks that, everybody's screaming at him, why the fuck have you moved out the way of it?
Well, I think 3 players have jumped for it, haven't they? I think one of them is McBurney, and they've all missed it, and it's just come at him straight away, and he can't. It's just the one place where he didn't want it to go, and that's where it's gone, and that kind of sums up our season, I think, to be honest, in just terms of absolutely no luck. You mentioned the soft free kick, or the free kick, should I say? At the time, I didn't think, when I saw it, I was a bit like you. I was like, why are you just nudging your man there? He's just going to go down, and it's one of my pet peeves, and we are going to get onto that, not this week, but next week with international break, we are going to get onto kind of things that annoy you in football. We are going to have the definitive list of all the things that piss people off, but this is one of mine. Players going down far too easy. It shows you it shows you a clip kind of behind Palmer rather than the TV camera that you get. And honestly, he's gone down like a sack of shit. I don't think it were a free kick, personally. What did you think?
Difficult to see from where I was, but you're giving the referee an opportunity to make a decision. Don't give him that opportunity.
Yeah.
Would need to see it back because obviously the club aren't putting out extended highlights this year, which is fucking exceptional work, by the way.
How many have we had? How many extended highlights have we actually had this season?
I've no idea, mate, but I know they've not been frequent. I know that much. But they are. I love that. But whoever that is in the media team, well done. Exceptional decision. Again, I need to go back and watch it, James. Did I think it was a free kick at the time? I didn't howl in despair of well,
it's
that's
not referee, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's not like there's nobody near him and he's thrown himself down. There was one, I think it was 30 seconds before, where Jaden Heskey makes a slide tackle next to a player, wins the ball, player falls over, free kick.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, similar incident, very minimal contact, player goes over. Player gives the referee a decision to make. Referee makes the easy decision, free kick, and then of course, goal. And that's coming back to that point here where you were talking about it's not the younger players who are making glaring errors. And there is also another school of thought to say, well, actually, it's better that the senior pros are doing this because they've got broader shoulders than they can handle this. And again, someone like Liam or Dom or whoever, two idiots sat talking on a podcast, they're not going to give a shit.
Speak for yourself, Matt.
No, one idiot sat talking on a podcast saying it isn't going to be anything. I just think it's such a silly free kick to give away with no time on the clock, with the player running away from goal. Like, if he's going clean through on goal, I get it. Bring him down, take your red card, whatever, which is what Jerry Yates should have done. Should have gone down, should have got John Egan sent off. But anyway, we move. It's just a silly free kick to give away because I think it was Liam who said, Liam's got it in the chat here, absolutely bang right. As soon as you gave it away, knew what was coming. Because, again, I nudged Chris next to me and just went, 2-1. I'm going to go down and see if I can get a drink. Edda goes in, bang, right, I'll see you in a sec. And just walks straight.
But it felt like Mystic Meg then, didn't you, when you did
this
that?
season, it's not that hard to predict, to be honest with you, James.
Well, to be fair, you've got, the average is 1 in every 30 minutes is going to be a goal. So, whenever they go forward, it's probably going to end up in a goal, to be fair. But third goal goes in on 58 minutes, probably the only real highlight of the second half, for them anyway. Teo gives the ball away, and it's just a really good counter attack in it from Hull. I mean, this is how Hull play. We just mentioned it for the first goal that Hull scored. It's how they've been playing kind of all season. We are just absolutely all over the place at this point. I do think, as much as we've been giving praise to the youngsters, I think Thornton's got to be stronger in the tackle. Cal Joseph, when he runs through, he's got, I don't know, he just gets pushed away like far too easily, I feel. And Kyle Joseph just slots the ball past Pierce Charles, probably one of his easiest finishes he's probably going to have, I think, all season. I think Charles is kind of rooted onto his line. I don't really know what's happened there. But yeah, at that point, 3-1, I didn't think we were coming back into it at 2-1, to be fair. I think, like you said, the game was just kind of petering out. And but yeah, that one went in, and then the singing started from that point onwards.
Yeah, again, this reminded me very much of the third and fourth at Swansea, where it was like kamikaze all over the shop. In particular, the fourth one, where it's like players bombing back and then just getting chopped inside of. As you say, this is how Hull have made their money this year. This is where they're good. It was definitely not a free kick on Teo Adaramola. There's no way. He just seems to kind of trip over his own feet and go down. And then there's him who's down on the floor. Sean Fasier's waving his arm about, asking for a free kick. 6s and 7s all over the shop.
Was it Domayofa? Was he not waving around for a free kick as well? So, because I was shouting at the screen saying play to the whistle, man. Like you've got to do that. You can't just think that ref's going to give a foul every 2 minutes, even though they seem to do that for the opposition. But you've got to play to the whistle, man, honestly.
No, exactly. I think it's Sean Fasier who's the closest player to Teo. Right. I think he's trying to support him in a run, and he goes down and actually he turns his back to where the players won the ball, and he's got his arm up, and then by that point he's away and at you. He's away and at your back line. The one thing that I would say from Jarvis Thornton's point of view, could he be stronger? Yes. He's tracking runners. Which is, over this season, that's all I've asked for from central midfield is when teams have broken on us. Please just make sure you're there to make it difficult. And he does, because it's an exceptional finish. Like, it's a really, really good finish. It's right in the corner. Pierce Charles, absolutely no chance. But yeah, game was done by that point. And it seemed like the energy that had been expended in the first half stopped, because we did stop looking for the runs in behind. The build-up was much more deliberate and slow, and it fell back into a pattern of sort of games. It was again similar to what we've seen for the past couple of weeks, James, trying to keep a game tight with 5 minutes left to go and then chuck some subs on and hope you nick something, wasn't it? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, just kind of obviously moving on from the goals now. One point I just want to make is, we've been talking about kind of performances and stuff, and I said that we've been better in recent weeks. Derby, Watford, Ipswich, and then obviously Hull as well. I think, are the performances actually better, or is it just a case of us just lowering our expectations so much that anything that's slightly better than mediocre is now kind of seen as some sort of worldy performance, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be giving players praise, but there's a part of me that thinks, like, is it actually good, or are we just, like I said, happy for it not to be shit?
Have we been conditioned, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. My personal belief is, James, I think performances have been better, but it is relative. It is relative to the situation that we're in, because we lost 3-1.
Yeah, the only reason why I bring it up, Matt, is like we're going into League One next season, and there's some people that are saying that players need to be given a chance. They've put in good work this season and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know, like I don't want to fall into the trap of kind of giving players a chance because they've been there when it's been really shit.
Yeah.
And then players just not being good enough, like, because we are losing every week, and how much of a drop is League One football to Championship football? We've all said that this season the Championship in terms of quality hasn't been brilliant, and it's hard to kind of contextualise, I guess. It's not like, this is 50 and that's 75, like in terms of just how good they are. It's not like that, is it? It's all very relative in terms of like the performance levels and stuff. But I mean, the other thing is, we talk about some of the players that have left Sheffield Wednesday. Barry Bannon, Josh Windass is two prime examples, like really good players for us. World beaters at our place, could do no wrong, and then they leave, and Bannon is struggling to hold down a first, a starting 11 spot at Millwall. Josh Windass is the same, although thank you for the goal yesterday at the Lane, of course. But do you know what I mean? That those players were like first team regulars for us, and now they can't even get into other sides, and yet our squad is a lot worse than that, if you know what I mean. Do you see where I'm coming from? I just don't want to. I don't want us to fall into the trap of just thinking that this squad's good enough next season, or that some of the players are good enough next season, and just thinking, I know we're not making the decision, but I think we have got to take those blue tinted glasses off a little bit. I'm not digging players out individually, or picking on players individually. I just think, it's all right for this season. I'm not saying we need to start expecting more right now, but I just don't want it to go into next and us kind of playing players who we perhaps should have moved on a bit.
I think if you're looking at, say, for argument's sake, the two examples that you've given there, I think it just highlights the depth of squad that is needed to be competitive in the Championship.
Yeah.
In terms of, it's not necessarily a mark on those players. It's more looking at it from the perspective of a good side like Wrexham. Josh Windass has scored 11 goals this season for Wrexham. He's over 10 for a rotational player in a front four. Like, that's good numbers by anybody's metric. Baz are using him for exactly what we should have been using him for the past four seasons, which is rotation and experience to come in and nick points in games where you're not playing well, or come on and rescue a draw. I think in terms of a chance and what it looks like, coming off the bench playing a midweek round of fixtures or a Saturday fixture, that is exactly the chance that some of these youngsters should be given next year, feeding them in and bedding them into a squad and rotating them one or two a game, not wholesale, all of you are going to have to play. Like, if you think about Sean Facia, if you think about Charlie McNeil, you think about Gabe Otegbayo, we're asking them this season to play, 15 to 20, 25 games over the course of this year in a squad that is full and littered with an ever-changing cast of people next to you. From the team yesterday, for argument's sake, I'd anticipate Thornton, Facia, Otegbayo, Charlie McNeil are first-team regulars. And when I say first-team regulars, I mean they play and are rotated. I don't mean like they're the first names on the team sheet every week. They're rotated in and out of the squad on a 2 or 3 week game basis. You add into that maybe Ernie Weaver, George Brown, Will Granger, maybe, because we haven't seen enough of him to actually make a judgment on him. Then, I think they deserve a chance. But you've got to go about building a capable squad to facilitate those youngsters around them, which is when David Storch was talking about that director of football role. Fucking hell has he got a job on his hands to do that in the summer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just don't envy that job one bit. You mentioned about kind of having squad depth and rotation and stuff, and obviously we mentioned Millwall and Wrexham. I've been having a look. If you take away in terms of Millwall, there's one player that's played or started every single game, and another one that's played or started 38. The next one is 30. 28, 26, 23, and that's the goalkeeper who started 23. So, there's only 3 players that have started over 30 games this season. Same with Wrexham as well. You're looking, they've got a defender on 37, the goalkeeper's started 35, they've got one on 34, and then we're in the 20s again. So clearly, teams. There isn't many that just play every single game. They do rotate them. Obviously, injuries could have played a part in that. But you have to. It's not just. We've had it for so long where it's almost like just because you play well, you have to play the next game. But actually, the modern game of football now is about rotating. You cannot perform at such a high level. Saturday, Tuesday, all the time. Like, it's just not going to work. Like, you might be able to do it at the start of the season, but as the season goes on, you're just going to get jaded. You're not like, you're almost better to have a rest so you can perform 100% next game rather than just performing at 70% throughout. If you know what I mean. And
absolutely,
I think as a fan base, maybe we just need to recognise and realise that. But I suppose first and foremost, we need to actually build a squad with depth in it as well.
Yeah, because it was something that was levelled at Darren Moore, wasn't it, through the promotion season? That there was people who got annoyed with him rotating certain players like very frequently, and it was like, well, actually, he did really well for us. He got us 90 odd points, and then I think I go back to last season as well. Danny with Michael Smith in particular, he rotated him. Why? Because he recognised that he was better and more impactful for 20 minutes coming off the bench in certain games because he was more likely to nick something than he was starting games. I remember me and you sat on here talking about, should Michael Smith be starting? Should EK Ugbo be starting last year? And it was like everyone was like banging that drum for Michael Smith to start. And then when he'd come on for 30 minutes in the week and then he started the following Saturday, he was dog shit. And it comes back to that point of you have to build a competitive squad capable of being able to rotate, but actually to be successful at the top ends of divisions, or at least competitive mid-table to top end, you have to be able to rotate and you have to have, 15 players realistically around your squad who all could and should be starting. And you have to find a way to make it work, which in League One, thankfully, there are an awful lot of games for people to get game time.
Yeah, and also as well, how many times do you see players, that them first team regulars, come off the bench and change a game as well? You have to be able to do that in certain situations. And I mean, this season is just a total anomaly. Like, it's not going to be repeated at all. We wouldn't like to think so anyway. So, Rich says we were all talking about squad rotation last season. You need 20 quality players at least to compete. In terms of, players getting, only getting to 60 minutes, 70 minutes and then getting tired and all that sort of stuff. Next week we've got the international break now. We won't have one next season. No rest in League One for those stuff. I mean, you never know. We might have some international players.
All those internationals we're about to sign for $4,000 a week. Come on.
Yeah. So you never know. We might not be playing. But Henrik was asked, Matt, in the pre-match press conference, kind of, is anything planned for next week? Have you got anything planned for the boys that aren't going on international break? And he just said, rest. Now, I mean, they need it, don't they? Because some of those players out there yesterday, 2 that I picked out of Ingleson and Jamal Lowe, just looked absolutely, I think the technical term is fucked. They look so tired, and they just do need that rest, don't they? Jamal, go and do your outfits of the day. Get yourself into the Pyrenees or wherever you was last time. Go and enjoy yourself and not think about football for at least a week.
He must have been tired because Henrik took him off yesterday. So I thought, fucking hell, he must be dead on his feet. From a selfish point of view, James, no, please, let's hurry up and get this season done. But yes, from an actual, sensical point, they need a rest. Like, they are clearly knackered, absolutely knackered, and they do need a change.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's come to the 3-word match review. Then I'll read I'll read some of them out from yesterday at WTID Pod if you wanted to get involved. Gary Slynn's gone with best fans around. Mark, proud of the fans. Neil Dunn says fans truly amazing. They've got Anthony that says end the season. IG Mitchell, same old shit. We've got great travelling support. New owners, please. Lost me voice. Wednesday are massive. Same old story. That fucking defence. Des says great 44 minutes. Matt Talbot's gone with press reset button. Another Sheffield Wednesday are massive, and Daz says lost me 10 quid. Why are you betting on Sheffield Wednesdays? Is what I want to say.
Yeah, for any positive result, because surely the bankers opposition win.
I mean, you could have 29 winners this season. I wonder if you'd be on positive if you'd backed a Wednesday defeat every single game this season. Answers on a postcard. Liam says Jamal's in the Jamaica squad for the World Cup playoffs. Yes, I did. Who have Jamaica got in the playoffs? Any idea?
Heard it at some point in the past 2 weeks, but no idea. No idea off the top of my head, James.
A country that I have never heard of, and apologies if you are from New Caledonia. I couldn't even tell you where New Caledonia is. Where the hell is that? It's in Oceania.
Should be getting through with the size of this World Cup currently. Should be getting there, and Jamal Lowe should have a summer in the North and South Americas.
New Caledonia's biggest win is 18-0 in 1991, which they've done twice.
I thought you were going to say 18-0 2026 pre-season friendly behind closed doors against Sheffield Wednesday.
No, against Guam and Micronesia.
I'll just say, great knowledge from Mr. Webb in the chat. South Pacific, near Tahiti, it's French.
Mr. Webb, have you been? What's it like? What's it like at this time of the year?
Knowledge, great work.
Yes, good stuff. Right, let's. I'm gonna talk about Chris Wigfield on X, but I just want to come to this point, a bit of fun, Matt. 7 games left to pick up 6 points to get to 0. We've got Stoke away, Leicester at home, Coventry away, Charlton at home, Borough away, Oxford away, and then we finish up the final game of the season, West Brom at home. Matt, let's just say, for just in a parallel universe, that we are going to get these 6 points. Where are we getting them?
Leicester at home, Charlton at home. It'd be fucking hilarious if it was Covent Borough.
Imagine that, like literally the two teams that we are not. We'd probably be 10-1, probably even more than that, 20-1 probably to win those games, and it would be the most Wednesday thing to do, wouldn't it? That if we were to beat Cov, it's at their place as well, isn't it? Another last minute winner, Shea Charles style, would be absolutely peak, wouldn't it?
I'm fairly sure as well. By that point, they will be able to seal promotion on that day as well, because it's late on, isn't it? It's late. It's got to be late. Are they clear enough to be able to get it done by then?
They're 9 points clear at the moment.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and we play them in 3 games time. So I'm not too sure if they can clinch it then, because it's still
not necessarily top spot, but I mean promotion.
Oh right, okay. So there's 15 points left after that point. And they are another 2 points, so 11. They're 11 clear as it stands at the moment. Ipswich do have a game in hand though over them, but yeah, it could be close. Maybe not clinch it, but get very close to that,
or get promotion that weekend and then clinch title the following weekend.
Yeah, feels very against Watford last game. Matty Newey, kind of.
Yeah, I'd give what I would give for that feeling again, because that was that was an outstanding away day. That what I would give for that feeling at Coventry. If people thought the limbs were good last year for Jenny Gassama and Shea Charles, just wait until I don't know, one comes off Dominic Iorfa's nose at the right end. He goes in front of that away end. It would be
class, wouldn't it? I mean, I suppose if I were to answer that question, I mean, the fact that we've got Oxford who are 23rd and West Brom who are 20th, I think if you were, law of average, if you were thinking, right, where is it most likely for that to happen, then yeah, probably those. I mean, I suppose they are the last 2 games of the season as well, so we'd have totally written it off. And to finish with 2 wins would just be, again, maybe beat Oxford, then takeover announced in the week running up to the last game of the season, then a packed full house against West Brom with David Storch in the director's box. I mean, tell me I'm dreaming, Matt.
It'd be very nice. The only reason I don't see it coming against West Brom is because they've just won the last 2 and they've gone to a complete, utter change from what they have been doing. They've gone, again, people of Sheffield Wednesday fans will love this. They have gone 4-4-2. Pump it to the big lads and play off the knockdowns. And it's working for them. So yeah, I mean, they got a result away at Bristol City yesterday as well.
Well, they might be safe by the time we play them in the last game of the season, so you never know. They might just gift us that 3 points and starting the Storch era off getting the Storch era off to a flyer. But
that'd be great.
But I'm getting far too ahead of myself. It might not even happen at that point. So stand down, everyone. Just calm yourselves down.
I walked away by that point because the EFL won't walk off.
Oh yeah, true. There is all that. Right, I just want to talk about Chris Wigfield joining X. Obviously, last week we were talking about David Storch, or should I say Storchy Owls. I didn't have Chris Wigfield joining X on my bingo card, I'm not going to lie, or KR62209, which, got to admit, needs a bit of work. If we're being perfectly honest, gone full incognito with that one. Well, he's tweeted 7 times since he's opened his account last month. Open his account? It sounds like he's a striker, doesn't it? Well, on the 14th of March, he did reply to David Storch, or Storchy Owls, by saying, David Storch will be a great custodian for Sheffield Wednesday FC, up the Owls. Clearly people didn't know who he was at this point, didn't get much engagement or traction on that one. Then yesterday, he posted this. He said, this process has been an emotional roller coaster, 5 months of highs and lows, moments of real progress followed by unexpected setbacks. That's the reality of complex situations. Nothing moves in a straight line. Today, things feel positive. Still work to do. First of all, Matt, I was hugely sceptical that this was Chris Wigfield himself. But you've since had confirmation that it is, in fact, him. And I think Joe Cran also tweeted something similar as well.
Yeah, I sent Chris a message last night, and just after he'd confirmed it, I said the only reason I was checking, mate, is because I just wanted to make sure it wasn't some fucking whack job trying to pay $7.99 a month just to pretend it's you. So yeah,
exactly. At the time, I genuinely, I didn't think it was him, and I was like, fucking hell, some commitment that paying for Twitter verified as well. Like that is really going some. Paying the I think it's £11, I think actually, or I have no idea.
Inflation.
Yeah. For a joke, he's really going hard. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I suppose we can get on to kind of Chris being on social media and all that in a second. But I think from what was said today, things feel positive. I mean, can we read anything into that at all, or is that just that he's positive because we have a preferred bidder that's going through the process? I don't know. Am I getting a bit too ahead of myself? Am I clutching onto these words a bit too hard?
I think can and should are 2 different things, aren't they? Like, can you? Yes. Should we? Again, I don't want to say should we? No, because I don't think Chris would be on social media if he wasn't looking to use it as an outlet to actually voice his opinion and voice his feelings surrounding issues about Sheffield Wednesday, and he is in a very unique position to be able to do so. So obviously the post that he puts out should carry more weight and more stock, and I'm sure that Chris will know this. He's a far more intelligent man than myself. But this is also a symptom of the fact of what the last 4 years have been like. Bear in mind, in January last year, James, we sat here, and if at CHANSIRI008 tweeted an egg timer or liked a player on Instagram, we knew we were signing them. So social media within the Sheffield Wednesday sphere does actually mean something to the fans of the football club, and it does have. I know every single football fan will say, "Oh, they've got this," but I don't know of another club who's had to cling on to little breadcrumbs throughout social media so highly. So, can I imagine that people will do? Yeah, for sure.
Because it shouldn't mean anything, should it? Really?
No, not at all.
But you're right. Like we are in a situation where we are trying to find every little hint or every little thing that's been said, or oh my gosh, he said this. Is that is there a hidden message in there somewhere? When in actual fact, it's just a load of bollocks, and nobody there's no messages there at all. But that, oh my gosh, he's following this account, but he's not following that account. What does that mean? Like, in reality, like it shouldn't be. It's not that deep. But yeah, I mean, I suppose though, in the interest of balance, we have to talk about kind of like him being on X and stuff, and obviously he can do whatever he wants. Like, I'm not telling him like what he can and can't do, but we talked about David Storch last week, and we kind of said it's probably best if he's not on there, if we're being perfectly honest, just because it gives someone an angle to have a go at someone, and that will happen. 100% categorically. If it hasn't happened already, it will happen now, and it's just totally unneeded. Both are grown men and more than capable of holding their own and stuff. But X is just an absolute cesspit. Like, it's good when it's good, but my God, there is no worse place when things go wrong. And I just think. At the moment, whilst the takeover is going through, I mean, after it, I mean this in the nicest sense, Chris Wigfield will probably be, I don't want to say irrelevant, that's probably too harsh, but in terms, at the moment, he is like hot topic. He
can fade into a background, and when he speaks, it carries weight, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. I'll just go back to, again, I mean this in the nicest sense, just being a fan of Sheffield Wednesday and just enjoying it, and probably sitting back and going, I've played a big part in getting Sheffield Wednesday to where they are now, and now I can just enjoy being a Sheffield Wednesday fan and do whatever we tweet. But I just feel like it's just another place where people can just fire things at him, and I don't know. I just personally, like I said, we can't be two-faced and say that David Storch perhaps shouldn't be on X, and then turn around and say that this is absolutely okay.
Yeah. It's just another avenue for people to contact you and reach you and get at you, and in your pocket, and you to see a lot of the stuff that's floating around, because also it does take some, and again, I know there'll be a far better place than myself, but I can only speak about my own experiences on it. It does take some time to get your head around the fact that everything you read on the internet is not true. People have different opinions, and people will say things to try and grab your attention, and then when you actually get into a conversation with them, they're not like that at all. Unless it's a social media team who's running it for you. I don't see any benefit for it at this point in time. And again, I, like you, think post-completion of it with the job role that he's currently in, you can go back to being a fan, but your weights do carry some words, and and it does carry some gravity towards those words that you're attaching to yourself. But again, to each their own, and then that poses the other question: if it's a media team running it for you and it's not you directly, why? Because presumably it won't be the football club; it'll be Begbie's and trainers. And do they need the publicity, or what do they stand to gain from it? Which kind of leads me to think that it must be Chris. Rather than a team of people doing it for you, because unless you are going to take the approach that we advocated for last week with David Storch of here's a tweet, delete the app. Here's a tweet, delete the app.
Well, I am disappointed though. To be fair, he's following 10 people, and that one of them isn't us, which is very very disappointing. Not even following the Sheffield Wednesday official account either. If people are interested, Sophie Ridge of Sky, the politics presenter, who is also a Sheffield Wednesday fan, who did a great piece the other day, which you might have seen. David Storch, or Storchy Owl. The Kabaisi letter, no idea what something about markets or something. Income Sharks. Martin Lewis, the money-saving expert. Elon Musk. Laura Woods, Fabrizio Romano, investing.com, and Premier League. So, like we're not on that list. So, yeah, like I said, very disappointing.
The other thing is, James, it may, I don't know about whether it was a brand new account that's been set up. It may have been an old account that's been dormant for a while and it's just something that he's decided
February 2026.
Oh, okay, so it is new. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I wasn't sure whether it was a new account or something that had been dormant for a while and then picked back up.
I mean, he could have been. He missed the trick here because his profile picture is a picture of himself. He could have used the one from the Steel City Derby.
Oh yeah, that's got to go. That's got to go up. That's got to go up. If you do, by somebody, Chris, if you do see this, that's got to go up there, please.
That would just be a bit of a snorter there. But that would just be absolute peak if he was to do that. But yeah. We've actually got another 15 minutes left at the moment. We've actually normally we're having to cut things short on this one. Is there anything that you want to mention at all, or we?
I was just going to say, James, here's a nice glimpse into the future, isn't it, of where we just talk about the game. There's no wider, huge, big football issues on.
Just on that as well, like I don't know about you, but it has felt really, really strange this week. Like I've not had any that sense of panic, and the Discord has been just talking about normal stuff for once, because it has been. If we take the last, I mean, I'm trying to think about this earlier. How long has it been? Like, it's been shit for a long time, but how long has it been really shit? Like,
yeah.
I always reach back to Fans Forum January 2025. I want to say that, and then. But I don't think it was really bad after that, if you know what I mean. So I suppose was it kind of end of that season? Was that when it got really bad? That was the point where players stopped getting paid, weren't it? I think, but the back end of last season. And yeah, when you think about it, like how many things have kind of gone wrong. It has literally been one or two things every single week, hasn't it? Certainly since the season started, anyway.
I think it's been a year to this weekend in terms of round of fixtures, because remember a year ago we just lost to United at home, and Chris Wilder had just done his full 28-minute rant of the season's finished and you're all shit and stick your data, and now he's talking about XG, so there's a nice full circle moment. That's really when shit hit the fan properly, because we had the 2-week break, we had 8 games left, we were all still, kidding ourselves about there's a lot of dominoes got to fall, but you've still got an outside chance of the playoffs here. And then you get to Cardiff, and it was a lacklustre performance. I think we drew the game 1-1. Cardiff were destined to go down, and then the following week it comes out that players haven't been played. We then went to Stoke, lost 2-0. And there was that reported bust up, wasn't there, between Michael Ehekwa, Michael Smith and Danny Röhl on the coach back. And that was where the wheels really well and truly started coming off. I think it's been really, when you talk about that time of like really bad, I think it's been a year of how bad it is, like a full calendar year from this international break, where it's been truly, truly in the mud. I think when we started discussing it on the pod was October 2024, and where debates surrounding, like I remember you doing, excuse me, you remember doing the debate show, and Jake coming on and Rob coming on and speaking very passionately about the protest efforts, etc., and talking about drumming up for support for the Yellow Leaflet campaign. That was all pre-March.
Yeah,
it's by the time that this actually comes to close, it'll be about 18 months from real start at the end to finish. It's been a long old slog, isn't it?
Where Chris mentioned a roller coaster. If it is a roller coaster, where are you on said roller coaster? Because have you hit the bottom yet already? Like, have you? Are we
gone? Yeah, way gone.
Yeah, because I'm a bit the same. I've kind of I'm on the way up now in terms of like positivity and stuff. I think the fact that we've got new owners on the horizon, and fingers crossed everything goes according to plan. I know we've got minus 15 and things like that, but even if we were to go down to League Two, and that would be absolutely horrendous to even think about, I don't feel like, as long as everything off the pitch is still working, and it's just unfortunate that we've had minus 15 and everything else, things have just not gone our way. I don't think it'll be as bad as what it was kind of earlier on this season, when you really don't. There was genuine parts where I was like, I can't see the previous owner actually leaving the football club. That when he was turning down bids for 60, 70 million, and I'm thinking, this man is just so deranged. We're just going to be jumping from payday to payday, not knowing where we're going to be, and him not coming to that realization of actually getting rid of the football club, and that for me was like such a low point and moment. But yeah, like now I am. Yeah, like I said, the season's done. We don't have to think about that anymore. We can just enjoy singing, and singing Wednesday are massive and everything else. But yeah, I feel like I'm on that upward trajectory in terms of my Sheffield Wednesday morale, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, James. I think the lowest point for myself personally was last summer. That was a horrible time, because there was so much instability. And don't get me wrong, we're not on a fucking firm footing now by any stretch of the imagination.
It feels firm in comparison, though, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. And also, again, I go back to the point at the top. I think, like where we were talking about the romance that's sort of gone alongside this season of it boiling down to what a fan of a football club actually means. It's taught me this year that it doesn't really matter what fucking division we're in. It doesn't. The real nuts and bolts of it doesn't actually matter what division that we're playing in. Yes, I agree with you. Going down to League Two would be horrendous for the first time in our history ever. It'd be absolutely horrific for that, but match day experience will still be the same.
Yeah. Do you know what? We spoke, didn't we? Earlier on, you referenced Sheffield FC and stuff, and they're playing in what? North Counties East Premier or something. I think it's step 7 or 8. They're well down there. I mean, they're actually doing quite well this season. I mentioned this yesterday on the watch along. Steve, my father-in-law, he lives on Beauchamp, so he lives on that road where the Sheffield FC ground is. And he went to the game on Tuesday, and they won. And he's like, he texts me saying, "Just watch the team win a game. Feels weird." But that's the thing. They're playing in that league. But it's still a game of football. There's still fans there. You still enjoy it. Like it's still the same. You're right. What you're saying. It doesn't. You get so wrapped up in the division or the league that the club's in, and you just forget, I think, sometimes what football actually means. And I think if one thing this season has taught us, it is exactly that meaning of football. And it isn't just the 90 minutes on the pitch. Yes, it's great if we can win games. Yes, we all want to be in the Premier League. Of course we do. I'm not saying I don't want that. But like yesterday, Matt, I said to you, what was it like? And you're like, yeah, meeting up with friends or people that you've met throughout, through going to the away games and doing the podcast and all that sort of stuff, having a laugh pre-game, having a laugh during the game. That's kind of what it's all about in it as well.
It is. Don't get me wrong. Like when you speak to Ipswich fans about it, Sunderland's slightly different, obviously, because they're doing incredibly well. Every single Ipswich fan I've spoken to has said, the journey's always so much better than the final destination of where you get to in terms of if you do get to that promised land of the Premier League. Because you go from these highs of winning games and promotions, etc., and then you get there and then you experience what we are this year. You just get dicked by everybody. Yeah. Like you just get slapped about and you realise that you're not good enough. And then you come straight back down. Burnley have been that yo-yo side. Southampton, Leicester on that real downward trajectory at the minute. It is really, really horrific going to... If you were just solely focused on if your mood is so often dictated by the results that are on the pitch. But again, I cannot stress enough, if this season hasn't taught us as Sheffield Wednesday fans that the results, regardless of whether we're winning games massively or whether we're losing this, actually should come secondary to what this football club means to all of us, I don't think any other season will. And I don't think any ownership situation ever will. Would I love it if we David Storch comes in and we're all connected and the training ground is sorted and Hillsborough's sorted and we've got this squad that we can be proud of, and we're talking about the infrastructure and, you know, like the club are really welcoming to fans and fan media and bits and pieces like that. Yes, it would all be wonderful. It really would. But ultimately, if we're shit and we're playing in the National League One or the Conference North, as long as there's a Sheffield Wednesday, I'll still be there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm talking about roller coasters. Steve BDI Smith says it's the roller coaster from Final Destination 3. Annie says we're finally turning the corner, fingers crossed. P. Wednesday says that roller coaster is underground because not many ups, like Indiana Jones. Boulders heading our way, avoid the snakes and the trap doors. Big Rev says it'll be League 2, which is still not Division 4. And then Richard says, you're right, but we're massive. I talked to my son about playing Man United, etc. It was great. I think, yeah, of course, like Rich, we want to be there. We want to be playing the likes of Man United, Liverpool, etc., etc. But I think the point is, I guess, you know, just because we're not, you don't need to get too downbeat, and it's still, you know, it's still a game of football. You just see League One. I'm not saying it's going to happen next season, but you know, when we were down there the last two seasons, winning more games than we weren't, you know, up in the top 6, 90 odd points or whatever it was. Hillsborough was rocking. You know, there was lots of people that were coming because we were winning games, and that will still happen no matter what league you're in. If you're winning games, people will turn up and they will come. Or in our instance, if you're losing games 2 and 3-1, people will still come because it's the Gallows humour. Right, we're gonna wrap things up there. Massive thanks everyone for joining. Really do appreciate it as well, each and every one of you. If you want to listen to Extra Time, we are going to be talking about the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust and Sheffield Wednesday itself, and kind of the involvement between the two, whether that's a good thing or whether it's a bad thing or not, giving our thoughts and stuff. So if you want to get involved with that one, get over to Patreon, patreon.com/WTID pod. We're going to be live at in about 25 minutes to 20 minutes time or so, but the link is all over there. 7-day free trial, no excuse not to sign up. But no, thank you very much, everyone. Go and get yourself a Honolulu Wednesday t-shirt. My phone's been buzzing as I've been going on, so some people have already been buying it. So it'd be great to see those. The next, what's the next home game? Is it Leicester? I think is that the next
Stoke
one?
away on Bank Holiday Friday, and then Leicester on the Monday.
Yeah, so it'd be great to see some. Hopefully, we have nice weather as well. So we see some of these shirts dotted around. But no, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.